Design Pickle is a big supporter of everything unSeminary. If you haven't heard, they are a flat rate, unlimited use graphic design service helping churches across the nation. We're a proud client of theirs and love how they help us make social media graphics and those downloadable PDF article summaries that we've been sending out. Even if you have a designer, you need to check them out. To learn more, visit designpickle.com/churches. On that same page, you can watch a totally free 30-minute video of me and the founder of Design Pickle talking about modern church marketing. And of course, pickles.
Welcome to the unSeminary podcast. Are you looking for practical ministry help to drive your ministry further, faster? Have a sinking feeling that your ministry training didn't prepare you for the real world? Hey, you're not alone. Join thousands of others in pursuit of stuff that we wish they had taught in seminary. Buckle up and let's get started with this week's unSeminary podcast.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the unSeminary podcast. My name's Rich, the host around these parts. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Thursday. We hope that you're having a great week as we get ready for this weekend at your church. We know that you've got a lot going on, and so it's our honor, our privilege that you would take some time out to listen into us today. Today, we're honored to have Mark Mellen with us. He is at Elevate Church in Florida. They've got two campuses, church of about 1,200 people. They're one of the fastest growing churches in the country. Mark, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about Elevate Church. Give us the kind of flavor of the church. If someone was to come on a Sunday, what would they experience?
We're a young families church. Our senior pastor is about 35 years old. As soon as you get out of your car, you're going to hear music. It's very upbeat, contemporary. When you walk in the front door, we're in a cafeteria. I've never seen anybody do a mobile setup like we do. We do a ton of pipe and drape. It's about 8 to 10 hours of setup on Saturday.
Wow.
And we use a lot of lighting. And you wouldn't know that you're in a cafeteria when you walk in. It feels like an auditorium.
Right.
And so I guess it'd probably be hard for me to describe. Young and contemporary would be the feel.
Cool.
So
very cool. Well, now why don't you tell us about your role there at the church?
I'm the executive pastor. I do all sorts of things, but that has a lot of roles right now for me. So I do the business department. I help manage the staff, a lot of the strategy. I work with the pastor, our senior pastor, with a lot of the strategic planning. And right now, I'm currently over our creative department. Although I always think I'm like the least creative guy on staff, and yet over our creative department. In fact, our church was so creative that our pastor, Pastor Tim Staier, thought, man, I have to lower the level of creativity on this team. And he's like, I know a guy, Mark Mellen. And that's how I ended up on the team.
You're the great equalizer.
Yeah, I'm like the antiperspirant to cool.
That's great. Nice. Well, I think describing your church, obviously a young church, growing, impacting your community. I would imagine funding a mission like that is difficult, can be difficult at times. We'd love to learn from you kind of what you're learning on, encouraging people to give to the mission of Elevate Life. What lessons are you learning on that front these days?
Well, we're actually in our second fundraiser or fundraising initiative in the same amount of years. So a couple of years ago, the school had come to us and they said, you're going to have to get out of here.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
We're in a town in Oakleaf in Florida, in Jacksonville. People in Oakleaf don't want to leave Oakleaf, so we have about a 3-mile radius that we have to be in. Otherwise, you can lose a lot of people that are coming to your church. I know that may be weird to hear, but that was true. And so we looked all over the place, and we couldn't find a place that we could move to. We came back to the school, and they said, well, if you do something significant like buy land or something else, then we'll let you stay until you build. And land in Oakleaf is super expensive too.
Right.
So we needed to get $1 million on our annual budget was about $800,000. So we went into an initiative we called No Limits. And this one, and our second one is totally different than our first one. So this one was very small groups driven. So we met with 600 people in 60 small group settings in a 6-week period, where we basically had them share. Pastor Tim would share the vision of the church and where we're going with them and the urgency of the hour. And then that led up. Go ahead.
Yeah, tell me about those meetings. Give me a structure of what those kind of small group meetings. But there's a lot there. People might have rolled over that. 600 people, 6 weeks, 60 meetings. Was Tim at all those? Did you go to all those? What happened in those?
Both of us were at all of those. Those were 2 a night. It was it was grinding, but it was. But basically, we would come. We would arrive. Pastor Tim would. We had like a little video that we kicked it off with. Pastor Tim would then share all the things that were happening, why it was important for us to join this initiative, and then we actually would go around the room and share why the church has meant so much to us, and every person would share, and inevitably somebody starts crying and they start sharing how the church has changed their life, and really that right there is the thing that motivates the people in the room to join the initiative. And then that led up to a worship night where everybody committed for that year. We had $1.2 million in commitments. 500,000 came down front. We needed 200,000 to secure the land. So over half our annual budget came in on one weekend.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Where did you end up against the 1.2? Did you end up collecting all of that, or a little less than that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's incredible.
In 1 year, we raised the full 1.2 million. In fact, I think we raised just a little bit more than that.
Right.
And then 6 months later, we're now in our new initiative, which is called Run.
Okay.
Now that one was to secure the land and build a building for Oakleaf. While we were in that initiative, we launched our Fleming Island campus because we thought, hey, if we could make this just a little more complicated, let's do it. And so we're in a cafeteria, live broadcasting to a movie theater with no office space. We have nothing. We're completely mobile in all our settings.
Great.
So we launched that Fleming Island location, and it took off. We have 400 people in that movie theater right now, and so we have to kind of finish out this project and break ground on the building. So we need to raise another additional 300,000. But why raise an additional 300,000 when you can raise an additional 1.5 million? So we went before the church, and this one is very Sunday driven. So it's rather than meeting in small groups, we met with larger capacity donors who can help fund the vision individually, and then we're bringing it to the church. And basically, we have 4 initiatives. We're gonna finish out our Oakleaf building, launch a campus a year for the next 5 years, buy office space for our Fleming Island location, and build a dream center in downtown Jacksonville. So it's very vision driven.
Yep.
And before the original campaign was, hey, make a commitment and give it. This one's all about expanding your giving. So we're asking everybody. We've created this kind of generosity ladder, and we're asking them to take another step. So 1,000 people, 1,000 families in our church don't give at all, or they give inconsistently. If you gave consistently, even $100 a month, that would be $2.5 million in expanded giving.
Right.
So rather than making a commitment, we're asking you to just expand your level of generosity.
Interesting. Now you're in the middle of that phase. You've met with your core donors already, and then you're doing the public phase right now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And how is that going? How is people's response? What's that looking like?
Good. I think it's going good. I mean, you never know until it's all said and done.
Right.
We have about 19 families that have committed so far beforehand, and that's about 300,000 in expanded giving.
Okay.
I think we're going to hit it. I mean,
right.
I think here was my fear. We just came out of a campaign.
Yes.
6 months ago.
Right.
And now we're going back into another initiative, and for the people to go, oh, it's the never-ending initiative.
Right.
But the vision is different, the style is different, and people have received it really, really well. So
yeah, what else did you do to kind of, obviously it is a different ask. You're not just asking for the same, like, above and beyond kind of giving. What else did you do to kind of fight the donor fatigue side of the equation? The people are just tired of, seems like you guys are always asking for money. Anything else you did to kind of battle that?
Not really. It's probably because the first time around was a definitely urgency of the hour. Hey,
right.
Guys, if we don't do this,
we're not moving forward.
We're going to lose this location, and you're going to be going to church somewhere else.
Right.
So if you love our church, you're going to do it. This one is very vision driven, so it's not really a need as much as it is. God has God has blessed our church for some reason.
Yeah.
Much is given, much is required. Here's what we think we're 5 years old. So basically, this is what God's done in the last 5 years. This is what we think God could do in the next 5.
Yep.
If we were able to step up in our generosity. And I think that Pastor Tim is just an amazing vision caster. He's just an amazing communicator and a phenomenal leader. And I think because of his ability to communicate the vision, people get excited about what could come. And we actually built it around this kind of idea. He kicked it off with this fact that Philip it runs after the guy on the chariot in the Bible. And here Philip has experienced revival after revival after revival, and he's got to be exhausted. And then God says, go get that guy on the chariot, and Philip runs. I mean, he takes off like that guy is the only guy on planet Earth that matters.
Right.
And here we are. It seems like we've been running and running and running, and there's a guy somewhere in Jacksonville on a chariot who needs Christ. And are we gonna go, oh God, we got to get this building built first, or are we gonna? And so it's the vision has helped us out a ton.
Cool. Well,
great at that.
Yeah, a couple things just to pull out that I hope people are hearing. One is that burning platform. You've got a very clear, gosh, we have got to do this on the first campaign, the first piece of this. And the second, you're painting a really clear, compelling, image. I think the other part of it is it's just a lot of work, whether it's, the 60 meetings in, 6 weeks or, doing the core donor and then the public thing. There isn't a shortcut when it comes to these kinds of initiatives. It just takes, a lot to happen. Can you unpack what you're doing with the current run campaign in the public phase that is, a little different than what you've done in the past? How are you kind of articulating that from stage? How does that look differently?
We didn't articulate the other one from the stage at all. Well, only one Sunday. So you had to go to what we called a pie meeting to hear the vision. This is all from the stage, and we're not asking you to come to any specific meeting. And we are this is what the future could look like. And we can do this. And now, now the series has turned from, it kicked off on our birthday with a real vision, and next week I'm going to tell you how we can run. Then it was, here's the 4 initiatives, and oh, by the way, for that to happen, we have to increase our generosity. And now the next 4 weeks is going to be all about, it's going to be a series on generosity with a tool, this generosity ladder, and helping them identify where they're at, and then saying, take the next step. And so then they'll fill out a commitment card, and it won't be an amount. It'll be, what am I currently giving? What am I expanding my giving with? Times 2. And what am I bringing to the starting line offering? Plus that, and you'll get your total number. So their commitment is their tithes, or what they're ever currently getting, their expanding giving, and what they're bringing up front. So it's a pretty large commitment. We're hoping that overall, you have $4.5 to $5 million in commitments, but some of that's they're already doing.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. Now, are you guys using a campaign firm or anything like to help you with this, or you've cooked this all up internally?
No. The first one we borrowed from a friend of mine, and this one we're using Generis.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. That's a great firm if you're looking for people to talk to on this front. Anything else you want to share before we jump into the rest of the episode? This has been fascinating kind of insight into how you're funding the mission there at Elevate Life.
No, you're right. It is taxing, and the important thing is that I think we have a really strong staff culture, and we have people who are willing to. Simon Sinek talks about having those Johnny Bravos, creating a Johnny Bravo culture where people are willing to die for one another. Why are they willing to sacrifice with one another? We have a small team that is willing to take the hill together, and we only hire from within, and we train them up. And so when you hit our team, you're ready. You're the kind of person who I know we just came out of a campaign, and I know it's a ton of work. But I'm gonna stay up all night making these videos and cutting these things, and because we believe in what God's doing here. So you have to really have a united team, because it can be, if you don't, that kind of stuff could break your team. Absolutely.
This is the unSeminary podcast. Stuff you wish they taught in seminary.
Well, we're going to turn to the lightning round, that part of the episode where we ask similar questions of everybody that's on the show. Super excited to have Mark Mellen with us today. He's from Elevate Life Church in Orange Park, Florida. Just glad to have you here today, Mark. What is a online resource you're using these days that's been particularly helpful to your ministry?
Facebook?
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I use Facebook a ton. We do Facebook ads and stuff like that. We online resource with other churches.
That's good. Facebook is great. How are you using Facebook ads does that attract people on the front end, encourage your people to come back? What does that look like for you?
We'll to get anything out there that from our fan page. So if we were having our 5th birthday, I put a little logo up about our 5th birthday, and then I hit an ad just to kind of get it out there online. With this initiative that we're in, every sermon we're posting it on our fan page, and then I'm putting an ad on it to try to up the amount of people just watching it and keeping them engaged.
Very cool.
What's going on.
Cool.
So,
what's a book you've read in the last 6 months that's had an impact on your thinking or ministry?
Right now, I'm reading The Key to Everything by Pastor Matt Keller. It's all about teachability. I'm a big fan of Pastor Matt Keller. He's a great at leadership teachings. I would say some of the biggest books that I always recommend is Tales of Three Kings. That's amazing book. Yep. Amazing book. Changed my life. The Advantage by Lencioni. We built our staff culture around that. And I would say Good to Great by
Jim Collins.
By Jim Collins, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Good. What's another ministry you're looking at these days just to kind of inspire you?
I worked at Church of the Highlands. We take a lot from Church of the Highlands. We also take a lot from Next Level Church. And we're probably most like Elevation Church.
Okay.
So we steal a lot from Elevation as well.
Very cool. Very cool. If you could get 15 minutes with any leader alive today, who would you want to get that with and why?
Wow, 15 minutes with any leader alive today. John Maxwell.
Nice. Yeah. Great. Good. All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today. I know you're busy. When you're looking to just kick back, relax, have some fun, what do you do just to take some time, some downtime there?
I like a lot of outdoor stuff, camping, hiking. Me and my son go hiking a ton.
Cool.
Out here. In fact, we were hiking the other day and a water moccasin slid out on the path and just it guarded the path. I jumped back. Oh, it was nuts. I had to find a new path. I was like, you know what? That's all you can, because you just stood there and waited for me to come. And they're deadly here. And I'm from Minnesota originally. And in Minnesota, we have this pesticide called winter that kills anything that could kill you. And so I'm not used to animals being able to kill me down here.
Nice. Well, Mark, thanks so much for being on the show today. If people want to get in touch with you or with the church, how can they do that?
You can shoot me an email at Mark Mellen, MarkMellen, at elevatelife.tv, or you can just go onto our website, elevatelife.tv, and I'm sure our contact page, or just click on any of the staff pages. Yeah.
Great.
We'd be more than happy to help with all sorts of things that we do. We don't got it all figured out, that's for sure. And if you contact us, we'll probably pick your brain more than you'll pick ours.
Good. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's unSeminary podcast. Don't be shy. We'd love to connect. Check out unSeminary Inbox. You can sign up at unseminary.com, and we'll send you helpful training resources every week. Plus, you'll gain immediate access to our exclusive members area with tons of resources you can use. Connect with Rich on Twitter at Rich Birch or through email, rich@unseminary.com. Don't forget to check out the show notes for this episode at unseminary.com. It includes links to what we talked about today and more. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Did you enjoy today's episode? Drop by iTunes and leave a review. Thanks again for tuning in to this week's unSeminary podcast. Join us next week when we'll learn more stuff we wish they taught in seminary.